All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Shabbat Shem Kakadash. The one I say, Apostle Elders, a great millstone, and peace and salutations to you. Sincere Akim out here pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. Just real quick, you had a Jake come to the camp. You had an Israelite come to the camp. You know, he was from Zimbabwe, and he was we were going through the gospel and talking to him about it. And he rushed off, but basically what he was trying to tell us is that people in different locations have different standards for beauty. And, that is a true statement, but, when you get into and he was talking about customs too, because we had to sign out with the different Kemetic customs, and we were showing them and asking them, well, look, would you do this? Would you put a plate on your lip? Would you, lengthen your neck and put a big ass thing in your ear to make your earlobe stretch a foot? And basically he was saying, nah, but it is what it is. So, he had that kind of Americanized understanding, but at the end of the day, he's an Israelite. So he's been called to obey the words of the Bible. The words of the Bible, just like the scripture said, these things are written for our learning. So we're supposed to seek after them, and that's what's going on with our people, man. Our people, scripture say what? My people are destroyed for a lack of understanding. And right now you got the government it's shut down. The budgets are getting cut. So this place, it's not doing as good as it could be. Just when people think everything is good, everything is lovely, the gas prices are low, you just had the holidays, boom, come out the gate, and some more shit. And that's beautiful, man. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. But getting back to this topic, I just looked up, African paganism. This is fucking ridiculous. and it's interesting, man. All of these different, you can look up paganism for any country in the world, and all of the gods in it, which the dude didn't quite understand. All of the gods in all of these different pagan religions, they're going to go back to those same deities and same idols that were worshipped by the Babylonians. Whether it be Amalek, whether it be Edom, whether it be Ham, Elam, whoever. All of these different people, they're just basically worshiping knockoffs of Babylonian deities. And we know the history between Israel and Babylon. Basically, we were captives under Babylon. They destroyed our temple. They took the holy things from our temple. But then, in one night, one hand on the wall, and boom, Babylon was destroyed, and the Assyrians came through and they conquered and took over. Just like that. Basically the whole planet had to shift under the vibration of Assyria. And just like the scriptures talk about, the heart of the king is in the hands of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The deceived and the deceiver both are in the hands of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And the same is true for our people, man, because I'm gonna get it. It said, ye shall make no idols nor graven image, neither Salakia, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your power. And man, it's crazy. It's crazy, and they're actually doing this kind of shit too in Venezuela. They're trying to do this kind of shit. I have no idea what it is, but it's not good. But okay, paganism It's just like voodoo, man. I'm gonna just call it voodoo. They're doing this kind of shit, praying to these guys because the country is poor. They're trying to figure out what the fuck to do. They're turning to all kind of shit, and that's exactly what's about to happen here in America. People are already doing that. That's why the whole excuse me. That's what people don't understand about the whole black conscious community thing. The only reason that popped off is because people are looking for answers, because they see the degeneracy that's running America. They see all the wickedness, just like this whole R. Kelly thing. But on the low, all of those women that are sitting there crying and boo-hooing, they were recruiting other women to do the very same thing that they were doing. And then, later on, they have video of them at one of his concerts, I think in 2016. And they talking all this crazy shit about what he did to them. Man, these people are fucking degenerates. And that's the flavor of America, man. That's what it is, man. Look, if I get fucked, everybody gets fucked. Everybody's getting destroyed. If I get destroyed, it's that kind of shit. Hey, Yahweh Shem Yahushua didn't set things up like that, man. It's interesting, man. You deal with people in the world. I haven't been in the truth that long, but still, you deal with people in the world, and their perception of what's really going on is completely fucking off. And you could just tell, in the first, some people more than others, but in the first, 30 seconds of conversation, and everything they do, they're off. And this is the kind of shit on the low, a lot of our people, because, they support the black community, or they support the so-called conscious community. They support they do all this God and goddess worship and all this shit. And meanwhile, you look at our communities, and there's the crime there is some of the worst in the fucking world. Just as bad as a damn country, that has a fucking war with another country. But we're supposed to be all this king and queen and all this shit. That shit is not about anything. That's how you know that Esau is, that's how you know white people are Edomites. Because that's what their society is about. Capitalism. Capitalizing on what you can, regardless of whatever it entails, whatever it means. If you have to serve this deity, if you have to bow, you have to go to this weird ritual, have to do any of this crazy shit. Hey, it's capitalism, Hey, YOLO, you only live once. Well, hey, the Heavenly Father, man, He set us up as kings and priests, from the men on down, and He set it up for us to be completely different. And that's why it's important, as I was meditating this today, man. We have to have a ruling class mentality, when we're out in the world, and especially when we're dealing with our own people. Like the apostle put out a video, talking about, hey, a soft word turneth away wrath. Well, that's what kings do. You have to understand how to have that judiciousness in what you say and how you move. And another thing too, you got to be very careful when you deal with your own people, because that'll be the main ones trying to drag you down, because they understand that your spirit is different than theirs in a certain sense. And that's another reason why, once again, we're in the destroyed state we're in. This is Leviticus 26. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards, to go whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. And you have so many people who are into this kind of shit. Okay, you had, and you go on YouTube, you got this guy talking about, him doing Santeria, and he's got to wear white on a certain day and just all this crazy shit. You got Jake into that skit, Jake into horoscopes. In the ancient world, when you had witches and all these people, soothsayers and these people, they would have to hide a lot of times, when we were in power because that shit was completely unacceptable. And now these days, it's cool for you to do that kind of shit. For you to go to a damn soothsayer, get your palm read, get your fortune told, all that crazy shit. And that's a complete abomination. All the statues that men put up of themselves, or Michael Jordan, Martin Luther King, all these statues that they have set up for people to bow to, man, that shit is completely off. And that's once again, that's how we know who Esau is, because he did the same thing with Rome. He has all, and they stand to this day. They got all kind of statues set up. They got all kind of pillars set up. The pillar for this, the statue of this, all in devotion of these false deities, these false gods. Okay, that's basically what the pyramids were. That was a display of wealth. That's a damn idol. And Jake built it. They put all that time and money and advanced fucking engineering and architecture shit that they still don't have to this day. And what happened? Yahweh Shem Abishai took them out, despite all the ingenuity and shit. So that's why you can't be worried about this man, really. Of course, we got to pay attention to everything that's going on, but shit, at the end of the day, Yahweh Shem Abishai, his plan, everything that was written is going to happen. Shit, because these Edomites are great, but just like it says in the Bible, there's a boundary set up that no man can pass. They can only go so far. They can only go so high, and it's beautiful. No matter how smart, how developed they think that they are, how much IQ that they think that they have, which we know they were given that, because the scriptures say what, that their children, the children of this world in their generation, are wiser than the children of the light. But hey, it's slowly and slowly we're waking up. Let's see, that's not what I want. Okay, well, oh yeah, this Salaki. That's what I want. That's what I wanted. This just goes to show you, Salaki, for the pause, but this goes to show you what happens when you keep implementing that idolatry and that bullshit. Basically, you go against the natural order of the earth. This is in fucking India. This is what's going on there. It says oxygen levels show why Yamuna, that's the river, is dead for all practical purposes. The river there is fucking dead. It's barely any oxygen. They said the intensity of the pollution may have increased in the last 4 to 5 years. For example, dissolved oxygen levels, the amount of oxygen dissolved in water ought to be a minimum of 4 milligrams per liter. 2015 onwards, there is nearly no dissolved oxygen in any stretch of Yamuna downstream. They're basically saying there's no oxygen. It's a river with no fucking oxygen, and that's fucking disgusting. And it's interesting, they had these big ass graphs and shit. I'm not gonna read all that, but basically, what they do with these fucking rivers, these nasty ass rivers, is they use them first off, these disgusting ass heathens, they're shitting in the river, they're shitting on the damn bank of the river, but then like they're showing you, I'm only gonna show a few, they'll actually throw dead bodies in the fucking river. In the same river you got people, look at that. Look at that. This is the kind of heathen shit. This is the shit that separates us from them. This is another reason, that we're supposed to come back to the law, statutes, commandments, because we're over them. But look at this. These people are taking a bath, chilling, washing their hair. Just you got all kind of dead bodies and carcasses floating in the fucking river. People taking a shit in the river. There's no oxygen in the river. You got people actually taking water and drinking from the fucking river. And because the river, basically, to give a backstory, the river is considered holy in their fucking mythology or whatever. So they believe, all of this is clean, all of this is okay. And it's fucking them up, man. It's crazy. And that's how stupid Israel looks. When they get on here, they got an ankh on, they're talking about this God or that God, and the black woman is God, all this bullshit. This is how they look. They look retarded. You next to some dead shit. A dead ass river, a dead body, you dead. These people are fucking spiritually dead. They ain't got it. And Esau say, well, these could be Israelites. Nigga, please. But let's see, is this the first one? Oh yeah. Yeah, this is their little Hindu festival, an ancient festival dedicated to the sun god. Babylonianism once again. India is one of India's most sacred rivers that's turned to one of the most polluted as institutional neglect is allowed. So you got industrial, I forgot about that. You got industrial chemicals and untreated sewage in the fucking river. It's labeled as ecologically dead. And it deeply resonates with their faith. Thousands entered its water covered in toxic foam. So there's still, even though, look at this. This is fucking toxic foam from chemicals and sewage in the river. And they're still doing that little heathen, disgusting ass custom. Toxic sewage and that's what they get, man, for going against the orders of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Look at that. Just disgusting. The river is fucking dead. There's no oxygen in it. And this, once again, man, this is how Israel looks, getting into these silly ass philosophies, getting into these crazy ass states of mind that they're in. This is why Yahweh Shema Shai has to destroy 2/3 of Israel. Because they're fucking, these people, they got the nice clothes on, brand new clothes. They probably got oils on and shit. They're gonna get into a river where people right up the river, they're throwing dead bodies in, they're taking a shit and wiping it in the river. And I think they dip the kids in there too. This shit is just foul and disgusting. That's why these Elamites, they smell like shit a lot of the times. Because they soak in shit their whole life. Ah, man. This is just to nail the point. It said is Shiva among the major deities of the Hindu pantheon, who appeared in the most widely known version of the Avatarana story. I think that's the story of the gods or something. Told and restored, blah blah blah. Only the waters of the Ganges, then in heaven, can bring the dead sons their salvations. So they gotta, where is it at? Oh yeah, it says that if no place along her banks is more longed for at the moment of death by Hindus than Varanasi, the great cremation ground. They have a cremation ground right next to a fucking river, next to a water source, or whatever the fuck this is. Those who are lucky enough to die in Varanasi are cremated on the banks of the Ganges, that's a river, and are granted instant salvations. So they think because they are cremated right there, they're granted instant salvation. If the death has occurred elsewhere, salvation can be achieved by immersing the ashes in the Ganges. So they're throwing dead body ashes into the fucking river too. If the ashes have been immersed in another body of water, a relative can gain salvation from the deceased by journeying to the Ganges. Okay, yeah, that's it, man. You get the point. You get the point. So it's a reason Yahweh Shem Yahushua set up for us to do the things that we do. You know, hopefully this strengthens your faith in what you're doing. You know, not getting into this other heathen pagan shit. You know, all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Hopefully it was edifying for you, Shalom.